Welcome to a Trucker's Mind podcast. I'm Eddie McGee.
It's your boy K Things.
We're back, man.
Yes, sir.
A new milestone. 230 episodes.
Dang.
We've reached a new milestone, man.
It's a beautiful thing,
That's
man.
a lot of episodes.
It's a lot of talking.
That's a lot of hours of talking, man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's get right into it. It's something I wanted to mention at the top of the podcast in regards to just a few things. It's something funny to start it off. Obviously, for you guys that know of my father's situation, when he has stage 4 cancer, and it's gotten really intense. He could be go any day now, any week now. It's getting there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, in the midst of that, you can still find the funny in certain situations. So today, I'm cleaning some stuff up over at my dad's house, moving some things around, and as I'm doing that, I'm being reminded of his frail body and stuff, and he's losing a lot of weight. I look over at this blank disc, and it said Sugar Walls on it.
Oh, my God.
And I was like, Dad, what is this? Is this a porno? He's like, uh-huh. I was like, fuck.
Sugar
That
walls.
shit said Sugar Walls. SUGA Walls. Nigga, I was dying. I was laughing. You gotta take a moment to get away from the despair and find the funny. It's the most random thing. Like, I got my father who's dying, and I see a fucking bootleg porno right on his table. Sugar Walls. And that must have been volume 1, because it just said Sugar Walls.
So many questions, man.
So many questions. I almost took the DVD home. Let me investigate these Sugar Walls.
Like, where do you get that name from?
It's got to be black porn. Gotta be black porn. Black porn don't waste no times when they start fucking. Usually with white porn, it's kind of like, or it's like a dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, hey, I'm here to deliver a pizza. And then they just like, oh, I didn't order this pizza. And it's like a little bit of a dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
Black people, as soon as you turn the porno on, they're like, As soon as you turn that motherfucker on, people already smashing. That's hilarious. I got to check that volume out. I might Google that. Like,
yeah, I'm looking it up right now. I'm trying to see what's going on. I only see like something that in the Urban Dictionary.
Oh, you can read the read the description so people can
Sugar
laugh.
Walls. Pussy so good, it's sweet like pure sugar. Let me use it in a sentence. My girl came home last night and gave me some of them Sugar Walls.
Oh,
I bet that girl over there has some good Sugar Walls. Ain't nothing like a good smoke after some Sugar Walls.
Oh, that's hilarious, man.
Funny.
Yo, shout out to Sugar Walls, yo. Another thing I wanted to bring up is, like, make sure you guys, anybody that creates content out there, stay true to the content, please. I won't say any names, but me and Keith, some of our favorite podcasts that we listen to on a regular basis, we see that they just start to become very inconsistent. They become very, missing a week, 2 weeks, and it's happening more frequently. And the thing about it is I think that some people amass so much success that they kind of outgrow the podcast or they outgrow the platform that they're on. And it's not a good thing because people rely on your content sometimes. Sometimes one of the bright points of their week, and I'm not saying that me and Keith are the most brightest point of your week. I don't want to make us that important. But there are people literally that were kind of bummed out when Keith got COVID and ruined the podcast for a week. Mm-hmm. It was like, oh, man, you guys ain't recording. I was kind of looking forward to hearing you guys this week. And I felt so horrible, but I was like, I knew we were going to, like, as soon as Keith got over his COVID, we were going to get back in the studio. Mm-hmm. And I think that it goes deeper than that, too. Keith, you could mention the open mic situation you were talking about earlier.
Yeah. Last Tuesday or a couple Tuesdays ago, I was up at the open mic at the comedy club out here. And before going, I was like, I hadn't actually been in a long time. And my boy DJ hit me up. He's like, "Hey man, we're going to the open mic tomorrow. Like, pull up." And I'm like, "All right, cool." Like, I ain't been there in a minute. And I when I sifted through my phone, I was like, I haven't even actually been writing, so I don't really have anything to say. So I was like, I don't know. Like, if I can't come up with nothing, I might just go to support or something like that.
Right.
But eventually, like, I had a couple conversations, and then some of the ideas started to roll, and, I just jotted some stuff down. And now I'm to the point to where, like, I understand, like, the science of writing a joke. So, sometimes, if nothing creatively comes, I can kind of, like, reverse engineer, some funny material or whatever. And then, the ideas start to, like, avalanche. But I kind of got on the road, and I was like, okay, I got like a good 5 minutes of material, so let me just go up there with my notes and see what it looked like. So we get there, and then I kind of rehearse my lines a little bit, and then I go up there, and my set was decent. I was kind of knocking off some of the rust and stuff like that. But after the show was over, we left a little bit early because sometimes it'd be like 15, 20 comics that go up in 5 minutes a piece, and it's a weeknight, and it could get real late. So me and my boy Brent, we left, and one of the girls that, I don't know, she came out to smoke a cigarette or whatever. It was like two girls that came outside. And the girl came up to us, and she gave us like a high five and stuff. She was like, like, you guys are really good. You guys were hilarious and stuff like that. And we just like, asked her like if she comes here often and all this kind of stuff. And she was basically saying like, this is my first time here, but I called my friend up and I told her that I just wanted to get out of the house because my grandpa passed away, and we had his funeral earlier in the day. And so basically we just had a conversation about, how, seeing comedy and listening to good comedy, like it kind of made her day. And it made me realize, like, a lot of us content creators are here for a greater purpose.
Right.
You know what I mean? And just to be able to bring some joy to somebody's life in a moment like that, it just kind of, it makes you aware of your own importance in this world, and it makes you present to every moment, right? Because just in our lives, sometimes we could think like, whether you're a musician or a podcaster or a music video director or a comedian, whatever, sometimes you could kind of like think that nobody is actually paying attention to what you got going on. Right. Like, I could have went up there and thought like, oh, it's cool, I got a couple laughs, but it wasn't enough for me to come back next week or something like that. Mm-hmm. But then you hear those type of conversations like, oh dang, that was hilarious, like it made my day. I was going through a lot today, and I just needed to get out of the house. And it just makes you more aware of, like, when you got a gift, you gotta really show up. And sometimes you gotta put your own reservations aside, like whether you're tired or whether you think you're not ready or whether you think you don't got enough material or whatever the case may be, and just show up as best you can in these moments, because you just don't know who you're impacting out there.
Yeah, I mentioned a parallel scenario earlier with my dad. I'm obviously watching my dad fade away, and in the midst of watching him fade away, I find a fucking bootleg porno, and it makes me laugh. Mm-hmm. It's no different than going to a funeral of someone you love that died, and you're almost trying to take a break from that despair, and you have a healthy distraction. And that's my objective as a content creator, to be a healthy distraction from shit. You might have had a breakup. You might have had a family member die. Your mom might have died, your sister, your brother, whoever. When you listen to this podcast, this will at least entertain your mind enough to get you away from it. Mm-hmm. And then we got 229 other episodes you could tune into, where we go through just a bunch of different topics from the bottom to the top, from anything, sex, taxes, porn, sugar walls, just a bunch of shit. Okay?
Yeah.
So I'm very proud to be a healthy distraction to people. But I'm going to need you guys to tell more people so they can tune in, and we can run the numbers up even more, and then me and Keith can get rich. And then we'll have more stories to tell you about how rich we are, and then you'll see the growth in that. We'll bring you on our rich journey. Yeah. And then we will conveniently shut you out of our lives so we can go back to our big houses.
There was a thing, didn't really finish the conversation before. I think we just was jumping around, but
Okay.
we were talking about basically we had an opportunity to meet up. We had a consultation with somebody, and we booked it, and it cost a few $100s, and we booked it, and they changed the date on us like 2 times. And even beforehand, you know, we kind of had the conversation about like, yo, if this is gonna be a thing, if they acting real weird in terms of like the dates and moving it around, let's just get our money back and move on with our life. And that's what ended up happening.
Yeah.
But it's this is a tangent from the conversation we're having, but it's something very important. And what I realized over the past month or so is like, you need integrity in terms of like the business dealings that you have, especially when there's money involved, right? And that's something that I've began to have like a short leash on, right? When you say, hey, especially when, you know, you putting a down payment on something, like I had to not only get my money back from that situation, I had to get my money back from this this attorney who was supposed to write some terms and agreements for me for my app. And she just kept coming up with excuses. And, you know, I understand life gets in the way, right? Like, you know, we have situations where, you know, your parents are going through something. And I know her situation in particular, it was like, you know, her parents are from a different country. So she's dealing with immigration stuff and all these different things. Like, you know, I'm a pretty understanding person.
Yeah.
But when this starts to become habitual, and then when you also say like, hey, I'm going to do this by this date and I'll get it to you, and then that date happens and you don't, and then you like, oh, okay, let me something came up on that day, let me get it to you in a week, and that week comes and you don't, and you just don't, and then there's just no communication. It's like, no, you playing with my money, and there's no hard feelings because I understand you get busy, but at the same time, like all I would ask for is like integrity, one, to say do what you say you were going to do, and then just to respect my time and my money, even if it's a couple $100s.
I think that people work off a value system too. I don't think it's just that they're playing with your money. I think that what happens is you're low on the totem pole when it comes to what's important. I've got a person spending $3,000. I've got a person spending $800. I need to take care of them first before. And then what happens is you get enough of those clients that they put on this top level tier, and then they got you. They're gonna keep pushing you down and keep giving you bullshit excuses because one, they should have never accepted the work. If they're not going to do it, the work that you do for $2,000, it should be just as good if you do it for $200. It's an integrity thing. So that's the problem with people too, man. They don't have integrity, and it's unfortunate. But we're not going to drag this on. Let's get right into it. All right, switching gears. CEO posts tears after layoffs. Now, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but a CEO. Let me go ahead and pull this up right now. Freaking eyes watering this shit. All right. CEO who posted crying selfie while announcing layoffs responds to backlash. A CEO who posted a selfie of him crying on LinkedIn while announcing staff layoffs has responded after receiving criticism for being out of touch. Braden Walke, the CEO of Hypersocial, said on Wednesday that he wasn't trying to make it about himself. My intent was not to make it about me or victimize myself. He wrote on LinkedIn, "I am sorry it came across that way." The apology on the professional networking site came a day after he revealed how laying off a few employees took an emotional toll on him. Days like this, I wish I was a business owner that was only money driven and didn't care about who he hurt along the way. He wrote Tuesday, but I'm not. So I just want people to see that not every CEO out there is cold-hearted and doesn't care when she have to lay people off. All right. Here's the deal, buddy. Okay. You posted a picture of you crying, right? I just think that this whole crying on the internet shit is just like, you were good enough to put a camera in your face. Like, you literally, this is like premeditated. You know what I'll do to get credit from my company and to look like I have empathy? Let me take a picture of myself with tears in my eyes. And maybe it's not even real tears. Maybe I just put some eye drops in there to make myself look like I'm crying, even though I'm a complete fucking loser and a piece of shit. And a bunch of people lost their jobs, And I'm basically, all I got to do is cry and look like I care to make my company more reputable. See, here's the thing. I don't like motherfuckers like this. I don't like a person that every 5 fucking minutes they got to take a picture of them handing a homeless person a sandwich. You didn't have to open your phone to give the homeless person a sandwich. You could have just did it, motherfucker. And this is society is always trying to sculpt and paint pictures of themselves. They try to paint this narrative surrounding themselves. Have you noticed that? Folks, listen to this. Do you know someone that's a complete piece of shit, but the image they put on social media is like, I'm a Christian, I'm a mom, I'm a giver, and and it's like, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You're a piece of shit, and you're doing everything you can to sculpt this image of yourself on the internet. Sit down, you fucking loser. I absolutely hate people like this. I love to do things in the dark because they're for me. Me giving to someone or having a real emotion is between me and God. If I had to lay off people, here's a better one. Here's a better one, Keith. Instead of putting a picture of yourself crying, how about you reach out to the motherfuckers you laid off and apologize to them? Mm-hmm. How about you do that? How about you post if you're going to do anything, post a video and say, I failed my employees. Mm-hmm. I failed my employees, and it sucks that they got to go without a job because of the decision I made, and I want to make an apology to everybody. I know it's not going to bring your job back, but I just want to let you know that I'm sorry for failing you. Mm-hmm. That comes off more genuine to me. But you're going to post a tear in your eye. One fucking solitary tear. And be like, not every CEO is heartless.
Yeah.
Man, if you don't get your bitch ass the fuck out, get out of here, man.
I think his feelings were real. I just think the presentation was off. Like I could understand the idea of him being like sad and that he has to lay off a bunch of people, and I'm sure he probably has. And I don't know. Did it say what company it was?
It just says Braden Walkie, CEO of Hypersocial, posted a selfie of him crying while announcing some layoffs of his company.
Is that like an app, maybe some sort of tech company or something like that?
Possibly Hypersocial.
Yeah. But basically, I'm sure some of those people that he laid off were actually, executives and administrative level people that work for his company. So, we can't directly go to this idea that it was just a bunch of, minimum wage workers that he was laying off. But I say that to say, like, I think the feelings that he had were probably authentic. It's just the presentation, and you really don't get no grace on the internet. Like, they was flaming him as soon as he posted that, saying it's tone deaf, saying it's kind of orchestrated, or he's just trying to make himself look a certain way and all this stuff. But there's a version of that which just kind of comes off a little bit better. I think even outside of remove the picture, just the statement alone, like, hey, it saddens me that, as Hypersocial CEO, that we have to, get rid of X amount of employees, right, and we're doing everything in our power to get our numbers up so that we can bring these people back in the next quarter or whatever. So, right, just something along those lines, like a smooth statement. But posting yourself crying is just weird, and it just and just knowing how social media works, knowing how the internet works, you just got to be more aware of your presentation. Like me and Eddie are podcasters that get, a few hundred listens a week on average on our podcast. And we're always mindful of what our conversations look like. Yeah. You know what I mean? What the presentation looks like. Is there a certain level of authenticity in the things that we're presenting and saying? Right. And for somebody that's a CEO of a company, and I don't know what Hypersocial is, but if it is a social media type thing or like a tech company, you're supposed to be more aware of two guys that just, do a podcast every weekend. So,
yep. You would think that a motherfucker would have more I guess etiquette or social decorum or whatever, but they don't. Mm-hmm. And you own a company. and this is what you're doing. Look, here's the thing. This is the reason why I have a problem with it, and the reason why I feel it may not be genuine. And I'll push back on it a little bit. Whenever you see a picture of a girl on the internet and you like, dang, she got a nice booty, right? And you're looking at this picture, you're like, dang, she got some nice breasts. They did not take one picture. They took 70, and they picked the best picture out of the 70. Have you ever seen a girl's camera roll before?
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's a lot of the same pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's a production, Keith. Pete, this is no different with this motherfucker. He had a picture of him crying. Okay, I don't like that one. Oh, wait. I don't like that one. Wait. I don't like that one.
Yeah.
Overly produced, and then he's got a massive vein coming out of the middle of his head. It's like either he's holding in his breath or he just wants you to see the anguish. Like he wants you to see that it's a real emotion. And I have a problem with that because that's not how real emotion works.
Yeah, to take a picture of yourself crying.
Yeah,
post it. I mean, taking a picture by yourself is just one thing, but when you post it, that's what makes it like strange.
It makes it strange. And I was having a conversation with a worker at Current Oil. Shout out to my man Jordan, man. We were talking. I said, yo, there's a lack of authentic moments now. We don't get to have any authentic moments hardly. Back in the 90s, 80s, when your grandparents or your uncles or aunts put out that fucking that Kodak camera and they went and it spit out, they didn't ask you always to, hey, you ready for a picture? I look at old pictures from the family reunions we used to have, and it was always people talking or people eating.
Just candid moments.
And those moments were beautiful because we never got those fucking moments back because everybody has to be a producer of content on the internet. Yo, I seen something today that made me cringe. I ain't gonna say who it was, but she's very, very attractive, by the way. But she was walking through the crosswalk and it was like a little song playing and she's like got her hands all in the air and I'm like, oh my God, what's up with everybody? Everybody is acting like a fucking TikTok sensation now.
Everything is a production. Huh?
Everything is a production. Motherfuckers cannot have any genuine moments. And it's like, if you were crying, dude, okay, I get it. You can cry. That's okay to have empathy that you've laid people off. But it's just hard for me to believe you made it this far into your business and you were like that shocked by laying people off. There's something else to this, Keith. I don't know what it is. There's something else to it.
Yeah. I don't know. I for me, I guess I just try to take people for what they say and, until they prove me otherwise. But I just think like in terms of, I think part of being a boss and what he is or a CEO of that level, like, communication is uber important. And I think if I were to have had that conversation and I'd be like, dang, he genuine, like, say that he goes in there, he's like, hey, man, I'm so sorry. The company is coming up short. We got to scale back a little bit. We haven't reached our goals for the past 6 months, and we got to cut some people back or cut some people off or whatever. I'm so sorry. If in 6 months numbers are great, you'll be the first person I call.
Right.
Boom. you let them go, right? If that happens, and then I see this nigga on the internet crying, I'm gonna be like, hold on, like this is the same person that was like having a man-to-man conversation with me, but he on the internet acting like a weirdo.
Yeah. Look, Keith, I'm not going to be shocked within the next few months if some girl comes forward and says, hey, he tried to sleep with me or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And here's why. What if this is some form of like damage control? Maybe someone's after your company and you are overcompensating for what the fuck is going to come. Because some people try it. They be like, his cock was out. The same guy that was crying, he's trying to, get some good public respect. But that's not how it works. Because people are killing him in the public.
Yeah.
They're like, dude, get the fuck out of here. You ain't gonna get up here and cry and act like you really,
Yeah.
I think that something's genuine. I think something is genuine when it's like real personal. Like I listened to Mike Tomlin, the head coach for the Steelers, talk about, coaching and things of that nature. He just seems like a genuine leader. And the way that all those grown men look at him when he talks shows how much they respect him because of his personal relationships that he has with people. He could tell you about yourself. Hey, you ain't getting to the ball. You ain't playing very good. You know what I mean? And look you in your soul and really tell you that.
Yeah.
This dude got to go on social media with tears and a huge fucking vein. That's like a fucking heroin vein. This guy shooting dope in his head? Fuck.
That's a wild way to get high.
God damn, he's like, oh, fuck. You know, you flicking the needle.
Gotta get that air bubble out.
Oh, man. Nigga got a head like Beavis, man. Yeah, man. If you own for anybody that's a business owner out there, if you own a business and some shit goes wrong, don't get your dumb ass on the internet trying to save face. Just lay the people off and move the fuck on. Because I'm sure they don't want even, like, they're already laid off. They don't want to see anything else but their just fucking job.
Yeah. He also looked like he on the toilet.
You said what?
I said he also looked like he on the toilet. Like he just took a nasty number two and he just like.
Not enough fiber in your diet, buddy.
Yeah, you got to get the fiber in your diet.
Got to get that fiber in there. Man, speaking of fiber, I took some chewable fiber supplements. It's these 2 tabs. They kind of taste like Starburst. No bullshit. They kind of taste like Starburst, but they got like concentrated fiber, I guess you would call it. And it's like, it tastes good at first, but then you taste all the vegetables and shit in it. But, yo, that shit will have your bowels like
moving.
Man, I had a double up this morning. Sat down, did my business, sat right back down.
Did some more business. Huh?
Man, I be hating that though. You think you done with the shit, and then your stomach be like, wait, there's more. What's that dude used to do? OxyClean?
Yeah.
But wait, here's more. That's what my bowels did this morning.
You was laying them off all right.
I was on there taking this shit like OxyClean. The #1 cleaner in the world. Yo, you know what I used to laugh at? And I think about it now, like, ain't no way this shit real. They would have a bunch of dirty water and dirty rags, and they pour OxyClean and all the shit turned white. Remember that shit? I'm like, bro, that was toilet water.
That's not how OxyClean works.
That's not how OxyClean works.
Yeah.
Yo, you know what I hate? And I got to admit this, and I'm not going to lie. I have good hygiene. You know, I've used deodorant, blah, 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 whatever. But for some reason, there are some shirts that don't quite get all the must out. Like certain detergents, like you'll take the shirt and you'll wash all your clothes, and you'll put the shirt up to your face. You'll be like, why does it still smell like a little bit of must?
You know what? What I recently discovered is like a lot of our clothes are like soiled.
What do you mean?
Like part of like what goes on with detergent is like it's soapiness that cleans your shirt somewhat. But you know, it's just sloshing around in a washing machine, and it's not like diligently cleaning your clothes.
True.
So sometimes it'd be like a little bit dirty, but sometimes it's a fragrance mixed with like a color pigmentation that sometimes offsets, you know, the color, right? Then you dry it and you put a dry sheet in there, and it just kind of adds more fragrance to it. Sometimes you just putting fragrance on top of the phone. But what I realized, like, cause I'm like very like, it's almost therapeutic to me to like get my white t-shirts and my white clothes white. So I'll, you know, do a whole OxyClean treatment and stuff like that. Wow. But you could wash it, like say a white shirt like this. You could wash it normally however you wash it, whether it's with bleach or, you know, just with any type of detergent or whatever. But if you actually washed it and then soaked it in like OxyClean or something like that, you'll realize that the water is going to be dingy brown like 6-7 hours later. And that's because your clothes is not really getting that clean.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah.
So something about the OxyClean or even like baking soda sometimes.
Baking soda. I got baking soda.
Yeah, like it'll get like that soiliness out of your clothes, and that must from your armpits and stuff like that kind of sits in your clothes. So yeah.
Oh man, I don't know how we got here.
Yeah, wash your clothes, man.
Shout out to OxyClean.
Yeah,
OxyClean. Do you have dingy underwear? Put in some OxyClean.
I put OxyClean in all my white clothes. I realized one day that bleach don't really don't really do nothing.
Bleach just be bleach. It weakens the
Strong,
t-shirt.
yeah, just strong and tear up your fabrics and stuff.
Eats your shit up.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is that some people could wash their shirts a million times, white shirts, but the underarms be like yellow. Mm-hmm. Like the underarms.
Sometimes, yeah. That happens to me a lot. That's why I use mostly OxyClean.
What I hate though is now, especially for some reason I don't know if it's because I got older, but my armpits be sweating stupid now.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. Mm-hmm. Like, fuck, they didn't used to sweat like this. My armpits be like somebody's pouring fucking water in my armpits, man.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell?
Yeah, that's why my shirt, like, I gotta take care of my white shirts and stuff.
I had some WAP, bro. I had some wet ass pits. Wet ass pits. My armpits be so fucking sweaty, man.
That's funny.
It's embarrassing. Like if I'm wearing my uniform at work, what I tend to do is like half the day I won't have my top uniform on, and then I'll put it on a little later because it be so hot and I be sweating so bad that it sweats through the uniform and it's wet, bro.
Have you ever seen one of those college coaches that be sweating through their suit?
Oh my God.
You be like, yo, this nigga's on crack.
Yeah. It's like, dude.
Yeah.
They have to make like different suits, like really breathable ones.
Yeah. Some got to give because like you said, I be sweating just so much. I sweat so much more now than when I was a kid. Like I was just thinking the other day, I was like, yo, I used to be playing football.
Yeah.
I used to be running track, as a kid, like all in this weather and not be fazed by it. Yeah. We used to walk across town, walk home from school and not really even break a sweat. Right. And then, just one day, we just, woke up and started sweating.
It's this dude I used to work with back in Sears when I was in college. Is an older white dude. He probably in his 40s for sure. Mm-hmm. Is a dude named Richard. I don't want to say his last name, but Richard was they would say Richard was a hard worker because he was always sweating. Yeah. Richard was not a hard worker. He was just fat. And he'd be like, he'd be lifting like 4 boxes, fucking profusely sweating. Yeah. Like, and it smelled. Yeah. It was one of those things like it smelled bad and he had a horrible, fucked up diet. Yeah. Where he would drink Dr. Pepper literally every single day. Mm-hmm. Literally every day. It got so bad he got kidney stones.
Oh my god!
And he was at work like, I
know that's painful. Oh my god!
Kidneys to wait for these kidney stones to pass.
And he just used to it, huh? He probably got him wet like multiple times.
I don't know. All I know is he had a smell to him. It was like he wasn't a dirty person. Like you could tell he probably wasn't dirty, but he had such a bad diet that he used to sweat and it just used to stink. Yeah. And his back was wet all the time. His back was wet. His chest was wet. His arms, and they were like, "Oh my God, Richard, take a break. You're working so hard." I'm like,
just because he's sweating.
Yeah, like this nigga just moved 4 boxes,
bro. I was like probably when I got into high school is when I like really started like sweating, right? Yeah. Probably like junior, senior year, like was when the sweat was at an all-time high. But I can remember I went to this girl's birthday party. And it was like it might have been like closer to the end of the year or between like after we graduated high school or something like that. And I can remember like showing up and I wasn't like super cool with anybody there. Like I had my friend, one of my best friends that went with me, it was his cousin, cousin's party. And he had, he's a very social person. So he going around mixing, talking to people, but I'm kind of there like, just like I'm cordial with these people, but I'm not like super like buddy. So I'm standing outside and just kind of standing on my own a little bit, just listening to conversations. But what ended up happening was like the party was like an outside party, and I was just like I just started to sweat, and then I just started to get nervous because I was sweating, and I'm just sweating, and I'm the only nigga out here sweating, and I got a gray shirt on. I'm sweating through my shirt, and then eventually the girl's mom came outside, and she was like, "Honey, come inside. Go to the bathroom. Here's a towel. Just cool off. You can sit here, sit in this AC and stuff like that." And she low key like saved me from a lot of embarrassment because I was sweating so much. And it was gonna keep happening. And so my.
Yeah, Keith was a part of NWS. Niggas with sweaty palms. Niggas with sweat. Niggas with sweaty attitudes.
The good thing about being an adult now is like I'm surrounded by other niggas I be sweating to.
Oh man,
like my cousin Brian. We be going to church and stuff like that, and that nigga show up like he could sweat in Antarctica. Like so I'll be like, cool. Like I know he's sweating before I sweat, and my sweat ain't gonna be as intense as his.
Look here, Keith Sweat. Oh. Yo, some people sweat for no reason.
Yeah,
like they'll be standing in place.
Yeah,
just fucking profusely sweating.
Yeah.
Richard, I used to work with, dude, he would sweat like while eating lunch. Mm-hmm. Like he'd be eating a sandwich and just sweat this.
That's work for him.
I'm like, God damn. Oh, I got to share this. This happened literally yesterday. This is random. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about. Yesterday, I had to stop by Pilot. Mm-hmm. It's off in Kramer Junction off Highway 395. And I stopped over there, and I went inside, and I had to grab a 6-inch sandwich because I was hungry. They have a Subway in there. It was this big black dude in front of me. He had to be easily 400 pounds. He's probably like 6'7". Oh, my gosh. Really big black man. Just huge dude. And we have like a little brief conversation and whatnot. And he's ordering ahead of me. Mm-hmm. And he was like, all right, let me get 4 sandwiches exactly the same way. And then we were just chit-chatting. I was like, oh, grabbing some food for the family, huh? He's like, nah, that's all me right here.
Why you do that?
I was like, nigga, what is going wrong in your life? You got to eat 4 Subway sandwiches. Go see a therapist, man. Fuck.
Footlongs?
4 footlongs, Keith.
Nah.
4.
That nigga got 48 inches of sandwich. Oh my God. That nigga
this nigga got more sandwich yards than a running back getting the NFL. Oh man.
That nigga got, oh my God.
He averaged more yards than Adrian Peterson. That shit, yo, and I didn't laugh. I like held the laugh back. But the laugh switched to judgment. Like, nigga, what's wrong with you? Why are you eating 4 footlongs?
That nigga got a first down of like sandwiches. God dang.
They didn't have to bring out the change for that. Didn't need no chain game for that one.
You know
first down.
You know how to ref like
4 sandwiches, first down.
You know how to ref when they measuring the penalty or whatever, they just walking.
Yeah.
Like, just imagine that nigga, the Subway people just measuring his sandwiches by walking it out.
He said, nah, this is me right here.
It's about me.
I'm like, bro.
And proud of it, huh?
Oh, my God.
That's funny, man.
I was just like, bruh.
Oh, it's all me.
I just couldn't believe, like, what is going wrong in your life to eat 4 sandwiches? Now, there was this dude I used to work with that would eat 2 footlongs, right? And it was like a daily thing. He would eat 2 of these, but it was never healthy sandwiches. It was like meatball sub and like chicken bacon ranch. Some people will go to Subway thinking it's healthy, but you ordering all the wrong sandwiches.
That nigga,
you got a foot-long meatball with pepperoni on it. Like
that nigga Crip Mac used to do that.
What?
He used to think all Subway was just healthy.
No, fuck no.
Yeah.
If you eat a foot-long tuna, you might as well eat a Big Mac.
Yeah.
Same shit.
Yeah.
That same exact shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. It's just so sad, folks. Stop taking out your, whatever you got going on in your life, man. Just don't eat 4 fucking sandwiches. All right, switching gears. Toxic relationships. Have toxic relationships been pushed to the forefront of society? That's the question that I have. I will say, for one, I believe they have. And the reason why is because as a culture, it's almost like we've universally accepted all the games, all the wild shit. And people will say like, oh, there's so many good women out there. Oh, there's so many good men. I think that it's a lie. I think that what's going on is a lot of good women and good men have been infiltrated by the current dating landscape. And it's almost like if you can't beat them, join them type shit. You know what I mean? Like it's hard for people to remain a good person because they won't be reaping the benefits of any type of companionship. You know, there's a lot of women out there that are decent, right? But at the same time, they have their guard up because they don't trust men. And then there's men who have been hurt and they don't want to give women an inch unless it's the ones in their pants.
Yeah.
So you got these people, and especially like on the internet, it's really sad. If you pay attention on TikTok, it's a bunch of like those clips that pop up and the like city boys. You ever seen it? It's so annoying.
I seen a wild TikTok where the dude was like, basically he was he called it like the cucumber challenge or something. I don't know if you've seen it, but
I don't know.
And I don't even know if it was real, but he basically went up to this girl and he had this backpack like on his lap, and he was talking to her. He's like, hey, what's up with you, like what's your name, blah blah blah. And she's like, oh, my name is such and such. And she was like, hey, you got a boyfriend? He's like, yeah, I do. He's like, oh, y'all relationship cool? He's like, yeah, I love him, blah blah blah. And then like it was like a series of like 6 different TikToks, and then eventually the dude stood up, and then he had like the cucumber like wrapped around his leg.
Oh, in his pants. Oh,
yeah. And then she changed up her whole attitude, like, yo, what is that? Like, what's up with that? And he's like, oh, I'm just, you know what I'm saying? I'm just out here hanging. And she's like, oh, you hanging, all right? And then like the whole attitude changed, and she got up and eventually left with him.
Oh,
and I was just like, oh, that's wild. So I don't know.
All it took was a dick.
That's why I was like, what you gonna do with that?
Yeah,
a porn star dick.
Yeah, I think women are intimidated. They're dick-intimidated by a certain thing. If you got 12 inches of cock, most women are going to be like, hey, man, I'm out of here.
Yeah, that's just too much.
You're not putting me in the hospital.
You're not touching my esophagus with that.
Oh, man. But yeah, I do. I think that what's happening is there's so many people that are fucked up that it's infiltrated the whole landscape of dating. And it's made it harder for normal people to find a decent, compliant partner. Another thing that's fucked up too is I think this is like pre-internet. This wasn't as big of an issue because people were more likely to try to work shit out. But the biggest lie that the internet tells people, especially married people, you can have better. You can have better. Look who's liking your pictures. Look at your pictures here. Look at this. Look at that. Look at look who hit on you today at the store. Look at who did this. And what's happening is it's oversaturating married people with the idea that they can do better. And I think that out of the 50% of divorce rate, I think that 20 to 25% of that is influenced by the internet. I really feel that 20 to 25% of the content of the things that are going on. There are some married women who have a decent man, but what's going on is all it's taking is little arguments. Like little arguments for them to be like, you know what? I deserve better. I need to be independent anyways. And you leave your man and then you get single. And then what you learn is all these men that are out there, they just want to fuck you. They don't value you. And you got out here single when you had a husband and you needed to go work that out. Because back in the 90s, people will work things out. They didn't have all these influences doing this shit. But now that you got, if you're a dude and you got your relationship on the rocks, and that girl that you used to fuck is on your timeline, and her cousin and her friends, you just got a bunch of distractions. Back in the day, you didn't have that.
Yeah. No, that's real. I think it's something to that that social media element. Because I think on a day-to-day basis, you don't even run into temptation, right?
No.
You know, like just being a person in a relationship or being a husband or whatever. But the DMs, the text messages and all of that brings an entirely different element to the social or to the dating pool. And to your point, as far as like, you know, toxic relationships being pushed to the forefront, I think that I don't know if it's like I don't know if it's necessarily a modern thing, but I do know that I think the terminology has been pushed to the forefront, right? I think that, you know, there was like iterations of very toxic relationships, especially in the 90s, like the Mary J. Blige and who was she with? One of them Casey and JoJo cats, or
Al Bundy and his wife.
Yeah, or you got Left Eye and
Andre
Rison, right? You know, all these like very wild stories that hit the internet.
Pamela Anderson and shit.
Mm-hmm. But I just think that when we have definitions, popular definitions for these things to coin these actions and stuff, but like people are leaning on it, right? You know, we know some of our friends are coining themselves as the Toxic Boys, and YG got the song called Toxic, and people kind of like
they're leaning on it way too much.
Yeah, people. I love me a little
normalized behavior.
I love me a little toxicity in my relationship. That keep it going. That keep it fresh. So I think that's kind of part of it. But one, like I think people are leaning into it. But I think with a lot of these people that are leaning, like quote unquote leaning into it, it's not intentional. It's just that you can't help it. You know what I mean? It's like these people that think that they are attracted to toxicity. It's not that they're actively like, you know, this is exciting in my relationship. It's not like, it's like, no, like you got trauma in your history that you haven't corrected yet. So you just passing on these traumatic people to, or these traumatic conversations to all of the people that you're in relation with.
You can't help it, and you're aware of it, and you just won't fucking do it. That's the problem. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people, they will lean on this toxic thing. It's just a lazy way out. Mm-hmm. And then these same people will form an opinion about men or women like, man, these girls is hoes, man. They just stupid hoes, and all they want to do is take your money and do it. And it's like, bro, the type of women that you only have access to are like that. Mm-hmm. You only have access to women that are hoes that want your money because that's who the fuck you are. Mm-hmm. Same thing with women. Like, oh my God, these men are so toxic. That's because you love toxic dick. Mm-hmm. If you just woke the fuck up, you would see that there are decent men out there. You know, the ones that were in your DM trying to take you on an actual date, or they gave you their number, or they were kind to you. You don't want those guys. Mm-hmm. You don't want those dudes. You want the dudes that make you wonder if they cheated on you or they ran out. See, what it is, here's the truth. We talked about this before. One of the most boring relationships are the good ones. Mm-hmm. Meaning, you know, the guy that, you know, he probably has a hobby, he works on his cars, you know, or he goes to work and, you know, and whatnot, and he's nice to you, he respects you, he pays a lot of the bills, you know. That sounds like a great relationship, but it's boring to women. Because especially if women have a huge history of toxic motherfuckers, you know, dudes that they bust almost about to cheat on them, and they yell at him, and then they take him back, and then he yells at them, and then they break up with him, and then they get back. Like, it adds an element of excitement to these women, and they don't realize it, but they've been influenced by toxic behavior. So when they get if they get in a situation like, if they get a nigga like Russell Wilson, they will leave his motherfucking ass. They'll leave him. Because he's too boring. Yeah. He's too kind and actually that's a false statement. He's not too kind. He's just him. He's just normal. But a lot of people be putting on a show. It be fake. Yeah. Like some people really be good people, but they got to act like, you know, it is what it is. I'm toxic. Like actually, bro, like
you actually like a good dude. You open the door for your girl and all this stuff. You get her flowers and stuff.
Yeah, like you like women too. You'd be a good woman. It's like, I mean, you suck a lot of dicks, but I mean, at the same time, I know you a good person at heart. Yeah, you just doing this stuff because you think it's socially acceptable. You know, but it's sad, and I think the thing about it is what you tend to learn is and this is like more or less if you're me. If you're out in the world and you're trying to just find a decent partner, what you learn is like you start to notice traits in people, even if they're decent people, and it's because they've been exposed to the toxic world for too long. Like it could be a decent woman, y'all cool, and then she just do some shit. And you'd be like, what the fuck is going on here? Yeah. I wouldn't expect this type of behavior from her. Yeah. And then as you dive into it, he was like, you know, my ex was like this, and this has happened, and he just like, damn.
Yes, I think sometimes that toxic, it could even be a phase, but it's all circumstantial, right?
Right.
It could be a dude that got cheated on, and then he got a run of just like being extremely toxic, and sometimes it's not even extremely toxic. You could have like micro toxicity. I was talking to one of my boys. And he was talking about this idea of like, when he was going through this whole phase, like he was being like honest with people, right? He was like, yo, I would, if they ask me like, what are we doing or what we got going on? He's like, yo, I'm not trying to get nothing serious. You're not my girl. Like we just having fun. And one of the conclusions that we drew was like, you say that and that's perfectly fine. But we know from the other side that there's two forms of communication.
Yeah.
Or there's more than two forms of communication, but the two forms of communication that we primarily focus on is what you're verbally saying, and then also body language, right? So if you say, I don't like, we cool, we chilling, I don't really like you like that, like I just got out of a relationship, blah blah blah. If a girl sees you showing up consistently, y'all chilling, and sometimes y'all chilling and not having sex, or she invites you over to dinner, she cooking for you. She like, he's saying one thing, but I know like I'm just a matter of time. I'm gonna show him that I'm wifey material. I'm gonna show him that I'm girlfriend
toxic
material.
in itself.
Exactly.
It's toxic both ways.
Exactly.
Because here's the other thing too. This what makes it even worse. This is the cherry on top of the toxic. If you are showing up all the time and acting like a boyfriend, women do want that companionship. And she shouldn't be seeking it in that way from you because you verbally stated you didn't want it.
Yeah.
So you got two people sending the wrong message, and then this is the one to make it the worst is if they're fucking the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
So if they're fucking the shit out of each other and the sex is good, that makes it 10 times worse.
It's in one ear and out the other.
Yeah. Like you could be saying like, you know what? Stay out of my life. And then like 2 weeks later, she'd be like, I knew you wasn't going to keep me out of your life.
Exactly.
And it's like,
sometimes we tend to not believe people, and to our own detriment. Sometimes it works out. Like, like there may be some girl that's waiting on that type of guy. Like, I know he just in a whole phase right now, but I'm gonna wait on him. And maybe they get together, right? But for the most part, like, you're low-key ignorant if you're not taking somebody what they say at face value.
Yeah. And I think women have the hardest time with this. A man will tell you straight up, like, I'm just about me. I really don't want nothing. And you will literally stay with a dude like that. There is probably a dude that has expressed himself to you in a way in which he says, I really want to get to know you. I really, and it's not even in a sexual way, but you're just like, he's just too nice. I'm not really ready for that right now. But you will go be with a nigga that told you to your face he wasn't wanting nothing serious, and then you still give him the pussy.
Yeah.
So you giving the pussy to a motherfucker that doesn't even value you. By the way, that's your choice. The guy that's being nice to you or whoever else, you don't owe them anything. No one is entitled to anything from a woman. Women don't owe you shit, right? But I still think it's weird how they will willingly give the pussy up to a motherfucker that is just gonna pump and dump them and be toxic.
Yeah. And
then the dudes don't give a fuck. And then the dudes probably got the same dudes be having two baby mamas at the same time, and they'll be pregnant arguing. They still won't leave him. Like, the best woman gonna win that fight. I've seen it. I've seen two girls pregnant by a dude at the same time, and then they had their babies, and he chose one of them. And I was like, God damn.
That's toxic right there.
That's beyond toxic. The baby is born into a toxic situation.
I'm telling you,
the baby was born and was like, y'all niggas crazy.
Yeah. And we know what that story looks like, like when a dad is not able to give the child as much attention as they need.
You know what's toxic as fuck? Eating 4 sandwiches. 4 fucking
48 inches of sandwiches.
God damn, nigga, fuck. I couldn't get over that.
That's all I mean.
How the fuck do you eat 4 footlongs from Subway?
Yeah.
Somebody call Jared, please. I actually know he's in prison still. Is he out of prison yet?
I'm not sure.
How much time did he do for that shit?
I don't know.
Jared was eating sandwiches and trying to eat little kids' asses.
They need like a prison all-star team to have like a little celebrity.
Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, Jared from Subway.
Yeah.
Motherfucking O.J. Simpson. O.J. got hoes, bro.
Really?
All white women too.
I bet.
Man, when is O.J. gonna learn?
Isn't that wild for you to be a murderer and just walking around freely?
He killing some pussy. That's all he killing now.
That's crazy, dog.
I'm O.J. Simpson. I think that Kobe Bryant. I'm like, nigga, you talk about regular issues.
Just a very eerie person.
Yeah.
They really asking his opinion on like social matters and stuff.
It's like, what? Let me see. Jared from Subway. Okay. All right. Jared is 44. What's he doing now? Let's see. Well, obviously he's in jail. Subway Jared Fogle speaks from prison. Oh, he's still in that motherfucker. This is January 6, 2022. Mm-hmm. Subway Jared Fogle speaks from prison. I royally screwed up. Okay, I got to read this shit. I'm sorry. Subway Jared Fogle speaks for first time from prison. I royally screwed up. Heavy pitchman Jared Fogle feels remorse for all the damage he has done to his career. The jailed pedophile and former face of Subway penned a letter from prison that cited an inspirational quote from the Shawshank Redemption and detailed his workout routine. I really royally screwed up to wind up here. I am the father of two, said in handwritten letter dated 7 whatever, and exclusively obtained the post. I was selfish and entitled. Oh my God. And it's a picture of him now. He got his head as big as a motherfucker.
I bet.
He got a big old head. They probably beating his motherfucking ass in there. You the nigga from the sandwich place? Bend over, bitch.
He probably in like one of those I want to call them the lower level prisons with the sex offenders and the white collar crimes and stuff like that.
I don't know. They might have him in maximum, man. He might have to save his own. He might fight for his life in there.
Yeah.
You the niggas that be eating sandwiches, huh? You ever ate ass before?
Have you ever got your ass eaten before?
I'm gonna put some pepperoncinis in your ass.
I'm gonna tune them out your ass. I'm gonna marinate your meatballs.
Oh, imagine one of them prison niggas that like having sexual relations with him be like, yeah, nigga, would you like that toasted?
Crazy.
Man.
That's wild.
Oh, yo, I seen some shit, bro. Oh my God. And it's not funny, but like I mentioned, in a moment of despair or a moment that's serious, sometimes funny shit sticks out to you. There was this OnlyFans model that's really popular on OnlyFans, and she just went to prison for literally stabbing her boyfriend. Mm-hmm. Like, and she stabbed him so much that she ended up killing him, which is a very fucked up story. And my stupid ass went right to the comments to see what people said.
Yeah.
Nigga, the third comment made me laugh. It said only stabs.
Subscribe to my only stabs. Get a killer deal.
That's not supposed to be funny. Oh man. Yeah. One day I said something on this podcast, bro, and you start laughing, and you was like, "That's not supposed to be funny." You said something like, "We're talking about dating or something." Yeah. It was like, "You could find you a nice girl, or find you a nice guy," and I was like, "Find you a nice trans," and you was like, "That wasn't supposed to be funny."
I remember that.
Oh, bro, that fucked this whole conversation up. He was just like, "Oh my God."
Oh man. That's funny. Only trans.
Oh, that shit would probably go booming.
That would go crazy, huh?
It's more dudes than you think that like trans women.
Mm-hmm.
They'd be like, oh no, this ain't David. This ain't Corey. No, yeah, I just came here to see what they was doing. Not what you think. It's like, nigga, that's you.
That's funny.
Yep. All right, we get off of this. Switching gears, Marshawn Lynch and Frank Gore. Possible CTE effects. Now, recently there were two completely separate incidents that happened with two ex-NFL legendary running backs. One of them was, unfortunately, my 49ers best running back of all time, Frank Gore. Ex-49er Frank Gore accused of dragging naked woman down hallway by her hair in Atlantic City. Former NFL running back Frank Gore has been charged with assault after allegedly attacking a naked woman and dragging her by her hair down the hallway of an Atlantic City hotel, according to a report. Atlantic City Police announced on Tuesday that Gore, 39, had been charged with one count of simple assault connected to an alleged incident of domestic violence. July 31st at a Tropicana Atlantic City, at the Tropicana Atlantic City. Police arrived at the hotel around 8:11 a.m. after receiving a report of domestic violence dispute and found a 28-year-old Miami woman speaking with hotel security. The woman did not exhibit signs of injury and no complaint was filed at the time. But the police said an ensuing investigation led to the simple assault charges against Gore. Gore is accused of forcibly grabbing the woman by her hair, violently dragging her nude person along the floor of the 59th hallway, according to court documents in the case obtained. Okay, here's my problem and why I'm dragging these two conversations in. Also, Marshawn Lynch was recently arrested for DUI. He seemed to be calm, but he was like inebriated. But here's the part that fucked me up. When you look at his car, his rim had literally blown. He drove the car on a flat for so bad that it blew off. Like literally the whole rim cracked off of the car. And I think that these type of actions from a player, an ex-NFL player, also one of the best running backs to ever play the game, these things are connected. They could be having results of not just, alcoholism, but fucking CTE, man. These behaviors are extremely like eccentric and odd. Very odd. And I never remember Frank Gore getting in trouble when he played in the NFL at all. But now he's retired and he's dragging women by their hair. I think that Antonio Brown is another example of someone who's probably going through a CTE episode. You see him at Rolling Loud?
No, what happened?
He had this dance. He had this song called "Put That Shit On," right? And the dance went kind of viral, low key. And it was the dance was super fucked up.
Yeah,
and it's weird. If you get a chance, go to TikTok and just type in "Put That Shit On" Antonio Brown. And he's got the most ridiculous, fucked up dance. Some NFL wide receivers are doing it when they get a touchdown now.
Yeah.
But it's like, something's wrong with these guys, man. And I think I told you before, I don't think football is going to be around in 100 years. I think it's going to be considered an old gladiator sport, and they're going to talk about it the same way we talked about, what was it back in the gladiator days?
I don't know, killing each other?
No, back in the gladiator days, they would literally fight people. They'd be slaves, but they were literally slaves, but they were there to fight. That's it.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, it's just like the movie Gladiator with was it Russell Crowe? Yeah, that's not an exact true story. But there's true.
But we still got gladiator sports like boxing. Like people still doing it. It's a similar thing. Like it's just a different arena, I guess. You got boxing gloves and stuff now.
Yeah, back then, bro, it was, and you got to think about it. I think that football is a better comparison to the Coliseum, the old Coliseum back in the day when they used to have swords and they would fight and shit like that, because they would fill up literal stadiums full of people. We're talking about I wonder what year that was.
Who knows? 100 BC or something?
I don't know. They was in there. I know that they was out there. They had squires. They was out there having sex with boys and weird shit. Yeah, I'm not sure the exact timetable, but that shit was a weird time, man.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's been going on for a long time.
Yeah, niggas literally had a little boy just chilling with them.
Yeah, that's
like,
wild.
damn.
I was just thinking about Jerry Sandusky the other day and just how wild that story is.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Like they were saying, they was catching him in the locker room just beating cheeks.
That's crazy.
It's just like, yo, that's a grown man. Like
that's catching and beating cheeks.
That's what I heard. That somebody said it was they heard him in a locker room, like beating cheeks, young cheeks in the locker room.
Oh my God.
In a shower or something like that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's wild. It just kind of ruined what's his name? The coach.
Joe Paterno?
Yeah, it ruined Joe Paterno's life.
Yeah, it did, but what I will say is this: if Joe Paterno had an inkling or an idea that he was doing that. I have to be honest. If Joe Paterno knew anything or had an inkling or an idea that he was fucking young boys, then fuck Joe Paterno.
Yeah, that's facts.
Yeah, he could fuck himself. If he knew it, if he didn't know, then okay. But if he knew that this guy was fucking kids, then he was complicit. Because it's basically like saying, he fucks little boys here and there. But he does a great job coaching. Like, what?
No, it's wild.
Like, get out of here, dude.
Was he the defensive coordinator or something?
I think so.
Yeah. Dang.
That's nuts, man. That's fucking nuts.
That's crazy.
That's like Jared Subway type shit. Nobody knew. They thought he was eating more than sandwiches.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's trying to eat little ass. Little underage ass.
Little underage ass.
Yeah.
Little 6 foot ass.
Yeah, him and that big black man would have got along just fine.
Yeah.
As long as I got my sandwiches, shit, we good. Motherfucker ate 4 sandwiches. I can't believe that shit. 4 foot longs.
They got a whole yard of sandwiches.
God damn.
That was crazy.
He gonna need to get pulled over, not on a SUI.
What was that?
Sandwich while intoxicated. Pull this nigga over. He is under the influence.
Yeah, but I don't know. To me, I obviously see the signs and the correlation between like the CTE, the eccentric behavior and stuff like that. I don't know. It may be just because I grew up playing football and I love the sport that I hate even thinking about that idea. Yeah. But you know, the signs is there. I don't necessarily, because there's no way of knowing if a person has CTE until, you know, they cut their brain open and do the research and stuff like that. Yeah. But yeah, when you know, especially watching the movie Concussion and stuff like that, you start to see, you know, the players that were in the movie were players that was hearing voices and just losing their mind, drinking a lot, and dealing with all kind of pain and all this other stuff. And they just kind of, you know, a lot of them ended up committing suicide, like a huge number of them. And it was all different positions, which is scary for me because, you know, a lot of times when, you know, I'm a cornerback or play cornerback, but a lot of times when you think about, you know, some of the skill positions, you'd be like, oh, we don't get as much contact as these other people. But it was cornerbacks getting, you know, that was killing themselves and getting CTE and stuff like that. Yeah. So it's just like, man, I don't know. It's a scary thing to think about. And I think, you know, you got like guys like Junior Seau and a bunch of other people, like, because you tend to think like this don't happen to the guys. This don't happen to like the superstars. But you know, when you see guys like potentially Frank Gore, Junior Seau, maybe his own life. Maybe the most popular one that we know of that, you know, has CTE.
No, the most popular one is actually Aaron Hernandez. Junior Seau is a Hall of Famer, you know, but Aaron Hernandez is the one that has a whole fucking multiple documentaries.
I guess his story is just wilder than most.
I guess. But what adds on to it is, like, I guess, the allure, because there's so many women who are like infatuated with Aaron Hernandez that just talk about how handsome he is, even though he's a murderer.
Yeah, I'm just talking about from a skills position. Like
skills position
is just the best player that we know of, Hall of Fame and whatnot, right?
You're saying that about who is exactly?
Junior Seau.
Junior Seau probably the best out of anybody in regards to the CTE thing. Mm-hmm. Him and there's another dude named, I think his name is Mike Webster. He was a center for the Steelers. Yeah, and it's sad what happened to him, man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he ended up being homeless or something.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's so fucked up, and he was a tough center too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, it's strange times. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's probably some motherfuckers we play ball with that got CTE. But we just like label them as like, oh, he be acting funny.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
That's why if you play this game, it's a very violent sport. You better protect yourself. Mm-hmm. Shit, wide receivers could probably get CT from all them cuts.
Just your body moving around.
Planting, getting hit against the movement. Like they run a route, boom, stick it, go here, and they get hit. Like all those little impacts, it's a lot of hits. Mm-hmm. So yeah, man.
Yeah.
I know Anquan Bolden got fucked up one time. He was in the end zone, like knocked out.
I guess for me, I would want to see, because obviously the research is fairly new. Like it's only been around, some of the, like, let's say cancer, for instance, like you have, years and years and years of research. The whole CTE conversation is fairly recent in terms of like being a medical conversation. I would be interested in seeing what like CTE looks like in somebody that doesn't have these eccentric behaviors. Like if there is a person out there that has CTE or their brain is deteriorating, but they're not like trying to kill themselves and having nightmares and stuff, like maybe they're like fully functional. Because like Frank Gifford, who for any of you out here in Bakersfield know who that is. He had CTE. He donated his brain to the research and stuff like that. And I don't know his full story, but I'm not aware. He was on TV, calling games and stuff like that. So I would be curious to see like what that looked like for him. If he was like a functional person in society, but he just dealt with certain pain and nightmares and stuff like that.
Honestly, man, I think that if you've ever played football for an extensive amount of time, your brain's already fucked up. Because your head is not. You got to understand, as human beings, we are fragile as fuck. We are not built to take on impact to the head. Like we're not built to punch each other in the head. We're not built for that. We're not built to get slammed on mats. We're just built to exist. We're not built for that. So when we go against the grain of our bodies, like we're really not supposed to even be eating meat. Like our digestive system is not built for that. Anyways, you go, especially playing. I play defensive line, so you playing every fucking down. You're going head up with another dude. Y'all just banging in there every play. If you play defensive tackle, more specifically, if you play defensive end, you had a lot of outside contain and stuff. But man, this time where the fullback could come full speed coming downhill on your ass. You getting double teamed by a guard in the center. It's like, and man, I've been fucking blown up before. Quite a few times.
Yeah.
You be like, oh, there's a quarterback. All of a sudden, your ass is on the ground.
Yeah.
Fullback came and laid your motherfucking ass out. You be like, God damn.
Yeah. And not to mention like the pressure to stay on the field sometimes. Right. I can remember vividly like moments where certain players got dinged up a little bit and the coaches get nervous. Like, and they not concerned about him coming out of the game and making sure he got a concussion. They just trying to get him back in the game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just I don't know, it just sucks, man. Like a sport you grew up loving, you just find out all this information and it's kind of scary to even think about. But it's real, There's people out here that are experiencing the worst side effects of CTE, in terms of Aaron Hernandez and his decision making and stuff like that. It's just it's a scary thing.
I think Joe Biden got CTE.
Joe Biden got
CTE after he fell off that bike.
He too old to get CTE. Like by the time it really set in, the nigga's gonna be dead. It's gonna be.
Joe Biden is slowly turning into the grandpa from The Simpsons. He's like, oh, like, bro, you got to run the country, bro. You can't keep doing this fucking shit.
Can't just be making noises.
You can't just be making noises and shit, man. You got to actually use your voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. When he turned around and shook that invincible hand, I'm like, oh no,
something is going on. It's gonna be a book that comes out about Joe Biden years later.
That nigga Joe Biden is asleep. He got his robot doing the dirty work.
Yeah.
Joe Biden just sent his motherfucking robot out here to raise the prices on every goddamn thing.
And you know how those memoirs come out and they just be the wildest stuff in there. Like, yeah, Monday through Friday, I had to change Joe Biden's diaper. He would doodle and pee on himself, and no one would be there to help him, so I had to do it.
Joe Biden writing his book, he'd be like, I love licking black pussy. He's like, damn, nigga, what the hell? I'm like, oh my God.
That's crazy.
What's up with Joe Biden, man? This guy's a freak.
That nigga Joe Biden gonna go to an Atlanta strip club to win the next election.
He's like, I'm here to get as many black women. The blacks love me. I'm gonna run again. You're like, what the fuck is wrong with this dude? I know what it's like to be African American. I've seen roaches. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? You already said that?
What?
He said, I've seen cockroaches.
No, I didn't hear that.
Bro,
part.
you didn't hear him say that shit?
Nuh-uh.
Swear to God, bro.
That
He said, I've seen cockroaches. I've had little girl rub the leg down on my hair. Rub her hand on my leg and watch my hair go flat. You be like,
yeah, I remember that part. I do remember
what
that.
What the fuck are
what
you talking about?
That's the black experience, like your hair going flat on your leg.
Yeah, or he just be breathing on kids, like
Yeah.
he just hugging them and breathing on them. They're like, hey,
Yeah.
man, you don't get your old breath off of me.
Yeah, I've had fried chicken before. You be like, dog, this watermelon is delicious.
I've licked a black vagina. Vote for me. I've licked black vagina. Black lives matter to me. To me. You're like, oh my God. I've used the food stamp card. I've used EBT. I know what it's like. I've shopped at DD's discounts.
I've walked through Marcy projects.
I've been on Mount Vernon. I've been over there.
Yo, I just passed by the East Hills Mall. It's all the way knocked down.
Oh, it's all the way knocked down. It's so sad.
I was like, yo, where's the mall at? And it's just dirt piles.
It's so sad. And what's crazy is how long it stayed open before it went down.
Yeah,
It was
years.
open years. They had a cool theater in the back. That theater was a place you took girls when you didn't want nobody to know you was talking to them. So like literally you could go to that theater. Let's say you just try to be private too. Mm-hmm. You don't want to go to the main theater, or maybe the main theater was too packed. Mm-hmm. They were showing all the same movies over there. Mm-hmm. You know, go watch a film.
A little sneaky link, huh?
Yeah, I watched that. I watched the movie there with my girl back in the day. It was over at it was the movie Drive. The movie Drive. It just came out with
Ryan Gosling.
Mm-hmm. Great fucking movie, by the way. Mm-hmm. And I remember I was watching the movie and some dude, like, you know how when the movie's going on and there's like little moments in the film where the volume gets really low. Mm-hmm. Man, some dude farted so fucking loud. It was bad. It was like, and then there was a couple people in there like, oh my God. Some dudes, he sounded like he fucking soiled his pants. That's how loud it was.
OxyClean.
They gonna need some OxyClean for that seat. That motherfucker blew a hole to the back of that seat. Oh my God.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Actually never been. I don't think I've ever been to that theater.
I've been there many times.
I don't know if I've ever watched a movie there.
Yeah, I've been there many times. You know what though? In regards to the movie, I don't know what it is. I have no idea what it is. But going to a movie, it like kind of burns this image. Not burn the image, but it burns this emotion into your soul. Mm-hmm. Like when you go into a movie theater and you could smell that popcorn. Mm-hmm. And it's not like regular popcorn. It's like movie popcorn.
You know what? A lot of people have this idea that Netflix is kind of ending theaters and stuff like that. Mm-mm. I don't know. You can't replicate that experience really anywhere. And I know me personally, obviously I could I could catch it on Disney Plus or whatever, but just that, like you said, getting and it's expensive, but we paying for it. I think I relate it to like live sports. Right. Like I could watch a basketball game on TV or a football game on TV all day, but when I went to the Niners game, when we went to the Lakers game, like I wouldn't trade that experience for watching it on ESPN.
No, I'm going to tell you something that needs to come back. We talked about this once. I feel like it's a recession-proof business, and if you have the money and the legal permits to do it,
the drive-up theaters.
You need to open a drive-up theater. Yeah. They were fucking massive back in the day in the 50s, 60s. And Bakersfield had one of the last big screens. I don't know if you remember it. Mm-hmm. Do you remember?
Not really.
It was called The Crest. Mm-hmm. It was off of, I think it was off of Weibel. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was off Weibel, and it was a massive screen, and it said the Crest. And then they were showing movies there, and then eventually they broke it down. But it was a massive screen. If you get that massive screen, and it might even be on a rainy day, I think they can still show films. You know, you just cover that up, and the projector can still work. I don't know how it works, but man, I think it would be dope. And everybody drive up in their car. You have a radio station probably. You would turn the radio station to so you get all the audio quality. Yeah, man. Get some concessions.
Yeah.
You can let different vendors come up and make some money. Get some different taco trucks. Get some burgers. You know what I'm saying? And that'll be dope.
Yeah, that'd be a vibe.
That'd be dope, bro. You could easily at Bakersfield. Oh, that shit would sell out every week. If you only let's say you started out showing one movie a week, it'd be sold out every week.
It has to be something like to where maybe it's just people are not creative, but to me it might be something to where like people aren't really like, it might be too many permits that you got to get or something's going on. Yeah, that makes it so that people are not doing it.
You need a certain amount of land too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if I'm a person, if all I know is this, the best place to me to have that theater, the best place is near Tejon Outlet. Because there's a bunch of land back there that the whole Tejon area that's owned by Lord knows who.
Bro, I'm putting it, sorry to cut you off, I'm putting it out there now. I want to like build a movie studio in that same area.
Yeah, man.
I'm putting it out there because I think about that. Obviously, it's a decent 30-minute drive from where we at.
Yeah.
And then from LA, it's just an hour.
Yeah.
So you just imagine like almost not a halfway point, but it's a point to where a production could drive an hour, rent some if they put more hotels in that general area.
It's a good space.
Yeah, it's like a perfect.
That's why I said I feel like a really good spot if they don't ever open up that marathon store in LA is Tejon Outlet. I think it's a perfect spot. It would be booming. First of all, a bunch of people are coming through the 5 and either shooting on the 99 and come back to Bakersfield, or they're getting on the 5 to go to like Sacramento or wherever else. So you got constant traffic coming in there. I think that'll be a hot spot. And I mean, the Marathon store is just a cool experience. They got some on the East Coast. I think they got one in New York.
Who knows what that area is going to look like 10, 20 years from now.
Oh, man. A lot of that shit is new right now. It's only been here like 9, 10 years. Not even 10, I don't think. It ain't been that.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff is fresh. All them outlets and stuff.
Yeah. They got some shit out there. But I think a drive-up theater out there, my goodness.
It's a 30-minute, like you live in Bakersfield, 30-minute drive.
Yeah.
Go out there, get you some food, and watch a good movie.
There's going to be a lot of people getting head out there.
Man, that's crazy. Getting head by Spider-Man slinging across the screen.
It's like, Dad, is it cool if I take Sandra to go watch a movie? They don't have no idea. You know how much fingering's go on in the movie theaters?
Gosh.
That's the first place people be getting fingered in there. It's like, you like that, Sandra?
Yeah.
Because fingering is always the first thing people do before they actually have sex.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of fingerings going on in theaters.
Stinky pinkies.
They eating popcorn. It's been like popcorn and freshly popped. No, I'm man. Yeah. Well, it looks like we're coming to the end of this episode, man. We appreciate y'all, man, and thank you for tuning in all the way to episode 230.
Man.
Some of you motherfuckers really listen to every episode, which is nuts, and we appreciate that, man. That goes a long way that you gave a fuck.
Yeah.
We're going to be here for a long time, man. So buckle your seatbelts.
Yeah, man. Make sure you tell your family you love them too, man.
Yes.
It's a lot of people going through a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It's important to be there for your family.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. I'm going through a lot dealing with this with my dad, but I think what brightens the mood a little bit is when you look over to the left and you see a porno that says Sugar Walls. It's like, yo, there is light at the end of the tunnel.
No, it's facts.
Yep. All right. Well, if you made it to the end of this podcast, we appreciate you. Thank you for listening to a Trucker's Mind podcast. I'm Eddie McGee.
It's your boy K Fings.
We are out of here.
Peace.